Hi guys, my name is Valentin and today I want to show you how you can set up and use the all-new Amaran SM5c LED lights with Aperture's Sidus Link application. So these are Amaran's new LED lights and they are also their first Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled lights. So actually you're able to use these with home speakers like the Alexa or the Google Assistant. And Amaran designed these specifically for content creators, but I think they are also a great addition for filmmaking and more professional lighting setups. So there are two main ways to control these lights. You have a built-in remote, which is plugged to the power connector. With this remote, you can control all the main functionalities like brightness, colors, and even effects. So in theory, you wouldn't need the application to use these lights. However, if you want to be more specific about your colors or your frequencies, or you want to connect your SM5c lights with other aperture lights, the application is the way to go. The remote also has a built-in microphone, so in case you want to use the live music mode, this remote will probably be more accurate than your iPhone or your iPad. So let's go a little bit into this Sidus Link app. So this application is available for iPhone and iPad. And the great thing about it is that it's compatible with all new Aperture and Amaran fixtures. So therefore you're able to control up to 100 fixtures with one single device. And there are also multiple layout shapes for quick setups where you can customize up to 25 individual lights. This is really nice because you can program different lighting setups and control when you want certain lights to go on and off, which color or frequency each one of your lights should have. And you can also create groups of lights. So let's say you want 3 light bulbs to light up in purple at time X, and then you want 2 spotlights to light up at time Y for 15 seconds. This is all possible with the group feature. You can also save these setups and reset them later on set. And there's also a console where you have quick access to each one of your lights and their battery status. So let's go into it. Now in this iPhone app, so far I didn't have to pay anything and I was able to use basically every functionality. But there is also an iPad app, which is a little bit nicer to use if you want to control many lights at once. And it also has some more functions. It basically looks the same, but it has a little bit more functionalities and also it's a little bit more comfortable to use with the bigger screen. But on the iPad, I already had to pay for the premium version, which is at least 10 euros a year. And that was already when I wanted to use the advanced features for this light. However, there's also a team version that costs at least 26 euros a year. And in this feature, 3 members of your team can control the same setup, no matter if they have an iPhone or an iPad. And I think that can go up to 30 persons, if I'm correct. But for now, let's stay in the iPhone app and play a little bit with the SM5Cs. So first of all, here you have a demonstration scene where you can see what this app is in theory really capable of. So as you can see here, you have 3 different fixtures. You see their battery status. So here we have 2 AC powered lights and 1 battery powered light. And I have quick access to each one of them and control their settings. And here in the console, I can also quickly turn each one of my lights on and off and also go directly to their individual settings. In order to connect your Amaran SM5c lights, the first thing you have to do is creating a new scene by clicking on this plus thing right here. Now these scenes, don't think of them as scenes, but rather as your light groups. So if you always use the same 5 lights all the time, for example, you can create a specific scenes for these lights and then set up and save different lighting scenarios within this scene. Because each time you create a new scene, you have to connect all of your lights once again. When you're in your new scene, the first thing you have to do is press this little green plus right here, and now you have to reset your Bluetooth on your light. You can do that by pressing the middle button for 5 seconds. So as you can see, I have now my Amaran SM5c here in the new fixtures and it's gonna set up automatically. So now my LED lights are set up in the fixtures and I can gain control to them. There are 4 main controls. You have your whites, your gel, colors and effects. So in the whites you can control and change the intensity of your light. I think you're always able to do that. You can also say I want half of the intensity, I want a quarter of the intensity or full intensity. Then I can change my CCT and also set my preset ones. And I can also set a specific source type. So for example, I can go for tungsten, studio lamps, or HMI, daylight, and all of this sort of stuff, even xenon lamps, horizon daylight or day white. And I can also then change the intensity. Now I can also pick a source match if I want to recreate a specific white. If I would like to recreate this white of this lamp, I could do that with the source match. But you have to be careful, because if you point your camera directly into your source of light, like I'm doing right now, it might overexpose and you might get an incorrect result. So in order to be more specific about this, you can put a white paper right next to the light source and then retry that with the source match. So now, as you can see, it's actually a different light. So you have to be a little bit careful with overexposure here. Now, if I have my specific white, I can also save it into my presets, which is really nice. These presets, they work with all of your settings. So you can save a specific effect, you can save a specific color, a specific gel, and a specific white. And this is really nice because if you're on set, you can quickly change your lights to your specific setting you set before. So let's say first I want this white, and then I want quickly a police car effect. So as you can see, I can directly access to this thing I said before. Here in gel, you can only change your CTBs and your CTOs. And I think in the future, he will be a little bit more features than this. But for now, you can say 1/2 of CTO or full CTO, so that sort of thing. And again, change the intensity. Next up, we have the colors. So of course, you have your color picker where you can set a specific color for your lights, and you can also change the intensity. But you can also be more specific than that, so you can here change the exact hue and also change the saturation of your color. Again, we have this thing called a color picker. So if you want to light a practical, let's say you have a purple neon sign and want to recreate this light, you can recreate it with this color picker. However, you have to be careful here once again not to point your camera directly into your source light, as it might overexpose and give you an incorrect result. So again, do this little trick with the paper and put your camera on the paper right next to the light source. Now let's go into the really cool things, and these are the effects. First of all, you have your system effects. These are available for every aperture light, but only if they are capable of doing so. So if the light can change the colors, for example, you probably won't be able to do the cop car effect or the TV effect. You have standard things like a fire effect, where you can also say you want cooler or more natural fire. And then you have things like party lights, fireworks, or a TV effect. Now I will come back to this manual effect mode later, but first I want to show you a really cool thing called the Picker FX. So with this, you can record an effect from a screen and the light will try to recreate this effect. You can record up to 120 seconds. So in theory, you could create an effect on your computer for a scene that is during 120 seconds and then recreate the exact same thing on set with this light. And here you could also say that you want the effect to play in backwards or random things from your 120 seconds video. So this is really, really cool. Next thing is the music effects. Here again, if you want to have it in live mode, I think it's better to use the remote, as it is probably more accurate than your iPhone or your iPad. But here you can also import an audio file. So you could upload a music clip from your iPhone, or you can record something with your microphone and then play it with these lights. Another really cool feature is the pixel control. Here you can set up 5 or 25 individual zones of the LED strips, give them an individual CCT or HSI, or even turn some sections off. And this could be really helpful if you don't have a lot of lights on your set and you want to create different colors or moods in each part of the room or your set. So here I can, for example, say that I want section 1 to be green or purple, then make this next section, where is it here, yellow or orange, and so on. And I can also, as I said before, turn a specific section off and on. I can also make these individual sections flicker or flash or breathe. If I want, I can also go really crazy and set up to 25 individual zones. And last, we have our pixel effects. And these are effects specifically created for these SM5c lights. So you have things like rainbow or festival. And you also have, for example, race mode, where different lines go all the way from the right to the left and that sort of thing. And here again, I can also change the parameters of this effect. And again, if you set up the effect how you want it, you can save it to your presets and come back to that later. Now here's the deal. I can control different parts of the stripe. I can set up effects and change them, but for now I cannot create my very own individual effect. So let's say I want a person followed by 1 single meter red light at that speed from time X to time Y. That I cannot do. I could do that with multiple aperture light bulbs, for example, with the program feature in this app. Or I can go to the manual effect if I want a specific time. But here I can only make them flash, having a continuous dimming thing, or a segmented effect. The closest that comes to this is the marquee effect. I think it's the one that you can individualize the most. But other than that, I cannot create just one single line, as you can see. I can only make these lines longer or shorter, and I can change the speed of travel, and of course also the intensity, and I can give them a specific color, as you can see now. But I cannot say I just want one single line to go from the left to right, unfortunately. So maybe in the future this feature will come, since this light has only been out for several months now. But I think for now the variety of features with this light is really amazing, and I'm sure it will be a great addition and tool to create some very cool lights on your set. So that was it for the Amaran SM5c for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I could help you a little bit, and see you again soon. Bye bye.